Hey y'all, how's it going? So, I have a bunch of books that I have to sign tonight. So, I thought that that would be a fun time for maybe us to hang out and chat here. I've been wanting to do more of these live videos because I really enjoy the opportunity to be able to hang out with y'all and chat and just check in and see how your lives are going and talk about how my life is going. And there's very few things as mundane as sitting around signing books. So as I am sitting here doing that, I thought it would be a great time for us to just chat. So I'm going to get started. And if you all have questions for me about the process of writing, about maybe you have a question about a book that you're working on or just something interesting that you'd like to talk about, in between me signing, I'll look up here and see what I've got going on. Nikki says, nice shirt, thank you. I'm not gonna lie that I am like nerd level excited about the new Jurassic Park movie. Like the concept of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park coming together, the idea of seeing Jeff Goldblum in all of his glory, and hopefully we get to see him in all of his glory, if you know what I'm saying, because if he's not shirtless in this one, I'm going to be tremendously disappointed. So so that's what we're hoping for. So I'm signing books tonight because I did a pre-sale of signed books like a couple of months ago, and they didn't come in until recently. So supply chain issues and all of that stuff, so I'm getting all that done. The last batch of them are being shipped out tomorrow, so here we sit and we chat. And also, very cute, all of my signed books come with a indulgence bookmarker because I want to go to hell, so I'll see y'all there. But yes, I'm obsessed with Jurassic Park. Always have been. Love the process of finding amber pieces and stuff like that. I'm sure that obsession came from that as well. So I saw someone said, don't get a writer's cramp. It's actually remarkable how much time and energy it takes signing books. Like one of the things I like about doing in-person book signings versus just sitting at my table doing it like this is because of the fact that when you're doing a book signing, somebody's coming up to you, they're bringing a book, you're stopping, you're having a conversation, etc., etc. Here I'm just like trying to get through it as quickly as possible, and yeah, it can get tiresome from time to time. So I see a couple of let's see here, got some questions in here. Lauren asks, did Jesus love the little children, all the children in the world, or was that just a Sunday school song, not actually based on the Bible? Well, no, it is based on the Bible. There's a story where a bunch of children come to hang out with Jesus, and the apostles try and shoo the children away, and they're like, don't bother Jesus, Jesus is super important, etc. And as that happens, Jesus says, do not prevent the little children from coming to see me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. And then he goes on to tell a story about how basically you have to have faith like a child. And so that song is a interpretation of that verse. At least that's my understanding. Josh says that he is glad we did the mini indulgences. It's funny, my 11-year-old, when she saw these, she freaked out. And she's like, Dad, those are so cute. They would be the perfect size for my American Girl dolls. So now American Girl dolls will also be getting into heaven, and there's not a damn thing the church can do about it. So they also fold really well and go into a wallet for those of you who still utilize a wallet, or your purse. It would fit whole in your purse. for those of you who still utilize it first. Let's see here. Oh, wow. So Rashida said that they got to meet the person who did the artwork for my shirt. So I'm super jealous of that. So Laura asks, the Pelosi situation, is refusing communion to her the same as excommunication from the church? It is not. That is a individual decision that particular archbishop is making, and that is binding to his jurisdiction, which is San Francisco, and it is binding to his jurisdiction only. He did not excommunicate her. He is refusing her communion. Now, if he did excommunicate her, that would be universally binding throughout the whole church, and there would be a process, and this is why he's doing what he's doing, by the way, is if you say, this person can't take communion in my jurisdiction, there's really not a huge amount of protocol that you can do to undo that. The bishop has that authority to make that decision. However, if he were to have actually straight up excommunicated her, then there would be a process to take that before the church tribunal. And so every diocese has a tribunal, and sort of like with the Supreme Court, there's your local tribunal, and then you can continue to take that up the ladder all the way to the Pope. There's a process for that. And so that, I believe, personally, is why the bishop made the decision to bar her from communion instead of, or from receiving communion instead of doing a straight up excommunication. If he had done that, then she would have kind of been able to take it through the system, and then it would force the church to have to make a decision, and they don't want to have to do that. So, let me see here. Hey, Elizabeth, I see your comment. We actually had an emergency situation that came up, and I will, if you will do me a favor, at the end of this, I will send you, if you will send me a message on Facebook, I will message you right back as soon as this chat is over, and get that resolved for you. It was supposed to have automated a message to you, and I guess it didn't. I've been actually having a lot of trouble with messaging through my website here recently. So drop me a message on Facebook and we'll get that resolved for you. Let's see here. All right, so if y'all are sitting here watching me sign all these books, you're like, oh my God, I wish I had a signed book. I did put the link up there. I'm going to do another limited run of signed books. I'm only doing 100 of them this time, just because I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world and I can't commit to more than that. But if you would like that, if you just want the indulgence bookmark, that's also on my shop if y'all want that. If you hear a bunch of background noise, my daughter is helping me package these. She doesn't want to be on camera, so that's fine. We respect autonomy in this household, so that's her decision. Henry, thank you. I'm having a great night. Sonia asks, how do you find your love for writing again? Lately, writing feels like a lot like pulling teeth. Well, I've been there. There's definitely days that I don't feel the vibe of writing. And, you know, one of the things that has really helped me is I had a conversation with Ann Rice one time where I asked her about writer's block. And her advice to me was, she said, well, you know, writer's block is a funny thing. I'm paraphrasing because I'm moving books around, but she basically said that she didn't believe in writer's block because we never stop writing, right? Like, we're always writing. We're writing emails, we're writing text messages, we're writing comments, we're doing whatever. And so kind of keeping that process of writing going is good. And so when I'm in those lulls where I don't really have like the joy of writing, and I'm just doing, sort of perfunctory writing, I look at that kind of the same way as I do exercise. Like you're exercising for the, you want to do the 5K and that's going to be fun and you're going to go hang out with all your friends. And you're looking forward to the 5K, but you're maybe not looking forward to your morning run. I look at that sort of, like I said, perfunctory writing as the same type of thing. That it's just, here's a box going over this way. I look at that the same way, that you're doing that as, that's the exercise as you're preparing for the big work. Let me jump on that on here. Thank you, Nate Porter. I appreciate it. Nate said I was looking good, and who's to argue with another Nathan? So I'm just going to take it. I'm probably going to pronounce your name wrong, but Kala says, I really appreciate your presence. Right now, my anxiety has been through the roof lately. And you always sound so calm. But my daughter wishes she was on camera right now. Probably has a lot of opinions about how calm I always sound. But she chose not to be on camera tonight. So we make decisions and we live with them. I appreciate that. I struggle a lot because of the fact that I talk about mental health and neurodivergency or whatever. I struggle a lot because what I never want to do is like transfer my anxiety, transfer my depression when I talk about those things. I try and talk about them in a way that I feel is helpful instead of harmful. And so that's always really encouraging to me when people say that. So thank you. That means a lot too. So that signature was probably not my best one that I've ever done. So hopefully when I'm dead, that one will be worth a lot of money. I just want to say that if you end up taking it to like Pawn Star Heroes or something like that, and they say that doesn't look like my signature, you can show them this video. And say that I told them that I messed it up. See here. Laura asks, can Pelosi appeal the communion denial, forcing him to have to give her communion? That is a little complicated. Like I said, because it's not an excommunication, it does get a little bit more dicey right there. So I do like to remind people I was an Orthodox priest, not a Roman Catholic priest, so there are some variances in procedure on a few of those things, but because he is specifically an archbishop, I would imagine that means she would have to appeal directly to the Council of Bishops, and I do not know exactly how that would work. What she could do, though, is, remember how I said there's canonical courts? She could hire, there are lawyers that are what are known as canonical lawyers. They're church lawyers that study church law and doctrine, and she could hire one and essentially sue the church through the mechanism of the church. It would not have any binding in a legal sense as far as like, our judicial system is concerned, but it would be binding within the system of the church. I don't know if she would win, but that is a process. Brittany says, I find that fascinating. The evangelical church I was a part of simply excommunicated me. No way to appeal that. Not that I would have wanted to. Yeah, so that is one, we talk a lot about the problems within the Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church and so on and so forth. But it's actually really fascinating because the church is so old, there are a lot of mechanisms within it, like I said, the tribunals and things like that do give people an opportunity, because it does acknowledge that not every bishop makes good decisions. Let's see here. Jump down. Andrew asks, thanks to thanks to the show that Alex Trebek used to host the other night, I learned that Andy Warhol was a devout Byzantine Catholic. Any comment on that? Are the indulgences sold out? They are not sold out yet, Andy, so you can grab one real quick. Just go over to my shop. So a Byzantine Catholic is a Roman Catholic in full communion with the Roman Catholic Church, but they use the same liturgy and vestments as the Orthodox Church. So their theology is the same as the Roman Catholic Church. They still, answer to the Pope, that sort of thing. So it's fascinating, but it is not the same thing as I was a part of. But I also thought Andy Warhol's art was fascinating. I went to go see his exhibit, not while he was alive, but I went to go see an exhibit of his stuff in Knoxville when I was younger, and it was amazing. And says, you sound exactly like I think you would sound. Like this is the voice that that's used when I read your posts. Well, it's always good to live up to expectations, because when people meet me in person, they're always like, you're shorter than I thought you would be. You're taller than I thought you would be. I'm like, you used a filter and you don't look anything like I thought you would look like. So how do you like them things? I don't actually say that because that would be rude. Let's see here. Emily says, I married into Orthodoxy and I love following you for all kinds of info. So when you married in, did you watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding and find out that it was actually a documentary? Because it's pretty darn accurate. Let's see here. Ava says, you're one of my top 3 favorite people to follow on Facebook. Who are the other 2? Because that's going to tell a lot about who you are as a person. So I want to know who those other 2 are. It'll probably also say a lot about who I am as a person. Like, I hope it's not like, I follow you, Trump, and Tucker Carlson. Oh, God. So don't do that to me. Nate asks, something I've always wondered, what is the Orthodox's view about Neanderthals, Homo erectus, and other human hominids? I always thought the discovery of fossilized human remains throws a wrench in the Adam and Eve story. The Orthodox Church does not take a literal stance on the creation story. Just like the most Jews do not take a literal stance on the creation story. So so that really doesn't hinder us in the same way that it would like some evangelicals. Let's see here. As a child, did you have adults that didn't believe you had dyslexia? My 11-year-old is still struggling with spelling and letter placement, but no one believes me when I express concern for dyslexia. So I was really, really fortunate that my mother was a special education teacher. So she was really able to advocate for me in a profound way. But I mean, I still have people who don't believe that I'm dyslexic. Like, there's always going to be jerks in the world. I'm done, by the way, so I really appreciate y'all sitting here with me. That made it a lot less painful. You know, one of the things that I would do is if you go to if your daughter is in a traditional public school system, you know, there are ways to get testing through the public school system. You can talk to a pediatrician about testing options. But getting that testing done is really, really beneficial, because then all of a sudden it binds the school system in a unique way into things that they have to resolve, and benefits that they have to give your kids. So yeah. See here. Okay, so Rebecca asks, how does the Archbishop get to just decide who gets communion or not, especially since the idiots in Washington didn't get that done with Biden? I know you're not Catholic, but you have a very knowledgeable on the inner workings. So this is true in both the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church. The priest serving communion is the one who gets to decide who receives communion. So, for example, in the Orthodox Church, it's actually stricter. You have to have gone to confession that day in order to be able to receive communion. So I would know who could and couldn't receive communion by who did and didn't go to confession that day. So if they did not come to me in the morning and give their confession, they didn't get communion during the service. That was the rules. So in a similar way, you know, what this boils down to is this concept of scandal, right? So like the average person walking up to the altar, the priest is going to give them communion by default, just presuming the best. But when someone has had a notorious situation happen, right, something that everyone in town is aware of, whether it's a divorce, an affair, whatever, then it is up to the discretion of the bishop or the priest on whether or not to distribute communion to that individual. So that's why, you know, technically the bishop isn't doing anything he's not allowed to do. I think that's the disturbing part. All right, so I got an answer back. It's me, it's Cy Babe, it's James Fell, and Hofstetter. You know, those are all great people, and I love them all very much. I got to hang out with Steve in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. We went and got some Tennessee hot chicken right up the road from Zany's Comedy Club. Got to hang out for a couple of hours before the show. The show was great. If you haven't had a chance to see Steve live yet, he is still on tour. And I cannot stress enough how much you will enjoy his show. It was a ton of fun. It was a lot of laughs, and it was laughs that weren't hurting other people. I think that was the best part, is that nobody was being made fun of in the show. It was good, it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. So definitely suggest you doing that. James is a great guy too. And if you haven't seen his new or his book, he just did a second edition with a new cover, so you should check that out. And I think Cy Babe is about to come out with a book, so hopefully that'll come out soon too. Oh, and Devil Vagina Magic is also working on a book on her series. Badass Women in History. So lots of really great books coming out, but you should still buy mine. Let me see here. How can I get an autographed copy? So I actually left the link up here at the top of this video if you'd like to snag an autographed copy, but I'll drop the link in the comments as well. Oh yeah, I say y'all. That's just I was born in Louisiana. I was raised in Tennessee. What is funny is I was trained classically as an actor, and so they tried to beat my southern accent out of me. But if you get me around a bunch of hillbillies in East Tennessee, all of a sudden it happens, and it just gets real twangy real fast. Someone asks, is that rain? Well, that's an interesting question. It could be two different types of rain. The noise you could be hearing could be the rain on my tin roof. But the noise you could also be hearing is my daughter, whose middle name is Rain. So one of the noises that you're hearing is coming from rain. I just don't know which type of rain it is. But yes, it is raining here tonight. Canada wants your books and your indulgences too. Well, Canada, I have some sad news for you. During the pandemic, they changed our shipping prices, and it is very, very difficult and very expensive to ship stuff out of the United States. You can get my book in Canada through Amazon. I am working to try and find a third-party distributor who can allow me to provide the indulgences and the mini indulgences outside of the United States. I'm also working on a t-shirt line, and it'll be the same people who do that, so that will also be available up in Canada. I did that just to make you all mad. Let's see here. All right. See some people saying come to Calgary. If my book tour, well, I say book tour, it's not a book tour. I will be taking books with me on tour, but if my Unholy Shit tour does well, I will be adding a West Coast leg to that tour, and then hopefully traveling abroad if everything goes well. So just hope that it does, and we'll see what we can do. I would love to hang out with all of y'all. Just don't make fun of the way I talk, and I won't make fun of the way you talk. Eh? Y'all? Alright, anyways. I love y'all very much. Thank you for sitting here as I sign these books. I will drop a link to the books in the comments. This was a ton of fun for me. I feel sorry for everyone who didn't join in, because it's fun to be able to just talk about silly stuff and not just hopping on here when some tragedy has happened. Not that there aren't tragedies happening that we need to talk about, not that this bishop barring Nancy Pelosi from eating literally the worst bread in the universe isn't awful either. But yeah, we make our own bread in the Orthodox Church. Did you all know that? That's something you didn't know. I bet. Yeah, the bread is baked every single day. We used leavened bread in the Orthodox Church. And so yeah. By the way, I feel fine. I know some people have said it's just the awful lighting in my house gives me this coloring. So I promise you, I feel great. I feel like $1 million today. Yeah, the lighting in my house is just awful. It's something. It's on my to-do list of things to fix. But I swear to God, I could do at least 4, maybe 5 push-ups right now if I had to. So I'm in top health for me. All right, so so seeing no more questions, having no more books. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and she who shall not be named behind the camera. Well, that's not fair because I did say her name, but I only said her middle name. If you say all 3 of her names at once, that's when things get really nasty. So, now that I made that joke, I feel like I have to remark that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe. All right, with that, I love y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and buy my books. See you in a bit. Bye.